Rant summer is here. Head on over to ajsrantroom.com. We got all of your summer needs covered. From bathing suits to swim trunks, flip-flops and tote bags, towels, tanks, and muscle shirts. Oh, and you can't forget about the visors and the hats. It's lit. So head on over to ajsrantroom.com and get your summer poppin'. You won't be disappointed. It's always lit over at ajsrantroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to ajsrantroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed.
Beep beep. Toot toot. Beep beep. What's good, everybody? How do? Happy Tuesday in the world this 4th of July week. Hope all is well. Welcome to the lunchtime rant. So I know the thumbnail says Trump winning, but actually that's probably the most minor of what I'm gonna talk about today. We're gonna go over so Candace Owens has another layer to her stuff. We'll go over some of that. We also have some updates on the New York's mayoral candidate Dami, whatever his name is, him. And then we'll touch on the one big beautiful bill. And there was one more thing. Hold on. Where are we? Where are we? It was that kind of morning, y'all. Oh yeah. We'll touch on tariffs as well. We'll touch on this whole. Remember, tariffs was supposed to be like the worst thing since Jesus, and Jesus left before he was resurrected. It was supposed to have been the worst thing ever, but come to find out, oh, actually it isn't. But the people gone people. Hold on. I need to do that. Why do I hear myself? Turn it off. All right. So Candace dropped a new episode, as I think she does every day, of her show, her YouTube show. And she apparently got some she started dishing on a phone call that she got back when she dropped her show on docuseries, I don't know, on French president's wife, and whether the French president's wife is a dude. And apparently in those discussions, President Trump needed Candace's help, and Candace, had to tell us all about it for some reason. Take a look.
Anyways, I sleep on that. Anger is subsiding. Wake up the next morning. It's February 26th, and I am sitting in the makeup chair And I get another message that's like, hey, keep your phone on. And I'm going, I really don't want to speak to this advisor anymore. I really don't. Or our personalities are not meshing. And anyways, this phone call is coming from Florida. I pick up the phone, and lo and behold, so here's what happened. I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine and Russia, and you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump.
Okay, so let's start with this. Why do we need to know about this? Is this like filler? I get it. It's hard to produce a show like, even though this rant is very informal, it's still a small production that goes into it, right? And I understand sometimes there isn't a lot to talk about. So instead of addressing tariffs, the one big beautiful bill, anything that's substantive, she decides to spill the tea on a call that she got from President Trump. Oh, Candy.
He is calling me, and in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not, hey, how you doing? He just like jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron, and now I'm speaking to the President of the United States, and the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, it's about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right?
Wow. Where's her husband? I mean, I don't. Does she realize how dangerous this is? What she's doing? Like, is she really aware of how? You could believe in God all you want, but that doesn't mean evil forces don't sometimes get a dub. So all of this meddling, I still don't get the point of us knowing that the French president's wife might be transgendered. What was ever the point of the whole thing? Like, what was the point of going after these people? Are they doing something on the world stage that's alarming, and we need to take them down for some reason? I mean, is this something that we're missing here, or is this just an salacious expose to just do what we do? I didn't watch the series because I wasn't interested. I don't really care about the French president or his wife. So I didn't watch it. But if someone knows in the chat, let me know. Put me on.
Right? And so he just jumps right into the narrative. He's like, I'm negotiating. You wouldn't believe how many pieces this person wants this person, and this person wants this, and you have no idea how much is involved when you're trying to get one of these deals done, Anyways, I have Macron. I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car. And, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And he tells me that there's Secret Service all around them. There's SUVs. They're encircled. And Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then the president says to me, you must be a very powerful person, Candace.
If I had the privilege of having access to the President of the United States, unless it's clear that I can share what we're talking about, I'm not talking about it. So if the President of the United States calls and says, hey, can you chill out a little bit? You messing up my deals here. And I'm trying to get some stuff done. And this expose and these documentaries are not really helping the situation here. So can you back up a little bit? Can you lay off a little bit? And that's it. You would have never known that conversation happened.
we're talking about the president of France taking me aside to talk about your podcast. And then continues his narrative and he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is like, he tells me, she's old and this is really, really impacting her.
Again, what was the point of the expose to begin with? And what is the point of sharing this conversation you had with Trump? Is this like your flex? You dunking on us smaller people? We don't have that access. So therefore, you get to take for granted that you have access to the president of the United States. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. Is this what we would call an egomaniac or narcissism? What would this be? I don't know.
And I'm listening, and he's, in one of Trump monologues. He's very funny. And then he said, I saw her, Candace, I saw her up close, and she looks like a woman to me. She looks like a woman to me. I had dinner with her at the top of the Eiffel Tower. And I explained to him that she has had this amazing doctor who specializes in transgenderism surgeries or feminization procedures. I'm talking to the president of the United States about this, guys. This is crazy.
You're talking to the president of the United States about this, and you're acting so repulsed about it or put off, but you're sharing it on your show. Groundbreaking.
Crazy. This is wacky. But I'm just giving it as good as I get. I'm just trying to get him to understand the truth. And then I explained to him why I don't feel so great about this request, because that's the more important part. Like, you are requesting that I really, and despite your reasoning, which is very sound, that I stop telling the truth. And I said to Trump, and I will be honest, that at that moment I realized that one day this is going to go into my autobiography. And so I got to say something funny. And I said to him, respectfully, Mr. President, it's not my fault that he married someone with a penis.
Again, why do I need to know who has a penis and who doesn't? What does this do for geopolitics? What does this do for the greater world? Exposing whatever you found about these people. What is the point? How is this productive? How is this conservatism? How is this anything that matters, Miss Owens?
He then tells me, we're really close to getting this thing done. We're really close to getting this thing done. He tells me again, Macron's been really good to me. He's been very easy to work with us. He's been a good person. He just wants me to get this one thing done. And then he throws in the art of the deal type stuff. He starts complimenting me. He said, Melania loves you. She says, you're so beautiful. She thinks you're so beautiful. I said,
Are y'all as annoyed as I am right now? I mean, what it looks like to me is like abusing the privilege you have. Having access to the president of the United States is not something you should take lightly. It's not something you should be so loose at the lips about. Yeah, I have access to him, but our conversations, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Compliments will get you everywhere in life is my mentality here. And then I say to him what I've agreed to already in the back of my head. I say, look, I'm happy to do this for the short. Obviously, I don't want to have on my conscience that less Christian men could have died in the East if I just shut up about something. But I'm very clear to him that this is going to be short term, and that I fully expect that in a few months I will be able to speak about this. And this is the point of the conversation where it actually gets quite interesting, because
oh my God, it gets there's more. There's more. When I downloaded this video, I had no idea it was 7, almost 8 minutes long. I thought it was a short clip. I thought it was the 3-minute clip. Apparently, it's the almost 8-minute clip, but that's fine. Whatever. Um, why do we? There's more. There's more. There's more.
Because he says yes, and I am now adding to you what I sensed. Like he was about to commit to that, but then it felt to me like someone in the background was like, no, we need this conversation to stop altogether. And then he doesn't say no or yes, but he just says, that he really needs to work with Macron long term, and they have this long working relationship. And
So the president of France is not going to work with the president of the United States because Candace Owens did an expose on his relationship and his wife. Is that the point of this conversation, that the president of France is that petty and that hyper protective of whatever he's trying to hide or whatever, that he is so discouraged that he's going to take time out of his busy visit to the United States to pull the president of the free world aside and say, hey, can you stop a podcaster from talking about me? Oh God, she act like she Barbara Walters or something, bro. Like she really out here. Oh God, why, Candace? Why? I still haven't found the why we need to know this. I still haven't found the why, other than feeding your ego and I guess sort of taking another dump on Trump. What is the point of this? Anybody found anything? I don't know.
I was very clear, this is not long term for me. Like if you're close to this deal, ink it, let's get it done.
So these two men are having this negotiation. I believe this is the Ukraine thing, the Ukraine-Russia situation. And in the midst of that intense discussion, the president of France is more concerned about a podcaster gossiping about him than getting the deal done. And it was so much that the president of the free world took time out of his crazy schedule to call you to say, hey, can you back off of it? And now y'all are having a negotiation about how long the ceasefire is going to be between you and the president of France. Oh, goat cheese and bread.
And then he sort of offers at the end, he says, hey, maybe I can come on your podcast one day. I'm great for ratings.
Wasn't Trump on her other podcast, the PragerU? I think he did the PragerU podcast, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't do the Daily Wire one. I think he did the PragerU podcast. I also know Mike Pence did the PragerU podcast. Yeah, Trump is great for ratings. He's not lying. And you're sort of acting like he needs the platform. Like he doesn't need your platform. He didn't need you to get reelected. You went with Vivek, and then Vivek didn't get the nomination, and you just in the background sort of supported Trump. But he needs to be on your podcast, One of the most popular people on the planet needs to be on the Candace Owens podcast. I just want to put that in perspective for everybody.
You're so Trumpian to give yourself a compliment. So I give him the Trump right back. And I say respectfully, Mr. President, I'm apparently good for ratings too, because you've got a leader of a country, the president of the country, asking you to ask me to do a favor. So then we end the conversation, and I am just reeling. I can't believe it's even happened. I then go and I immediately tell my husband, and I write down the details of the conversation so that I wouldn't forget the conversation that we were having. And of course, the first thing that I want to say principally is that Emmanuel Macron must step down.
Why? Why must he step down? Because his wife is transgendered, allegedly.
Okay. Because if that is true, and I will say that did not come from Trump. He did not say specifically he's holding up negotiations for this, but he did say specifically that they were talking about the Ukraine and Russia war all day, and he's just trying to make it all happen. And that is when Macron took him to the side. So I kind of trust the information who came from that third party person, that what he was being told was that he was holding this up, right? Like Macron's holding this up, a contingency here on whether or not he's going to agree to this sort of international deal is whether or not Candace Owens stops speaking about his wife.
Oh my God. I didn't get from that he was not going to make the deal or they weren't going to be able to go forward. I just got that he was agitated by something and he just wanted to bring it up to the president to see if he could make it stop. But I don't think it's like part of the deal. Get Candace Owens to stop, or I'm just going to keep Ukraine and Russia fighting. Like, I don't think that was. I wish my ego was this inflated. Oh my gosh. I felt like I was this important.
Yeah, you got to step down, okay? Because there is no greater example of just the lack of morality that a leader can have than his husband, wife putting him on a plane and sending him overseas to make Candace Owens stop speaking.
So, for those who are late to the party, the president of France's wife is allegedly transgender. Candace did a series on it. Finding, I didn't watch the series. I wasn't interested. I don't care about the president of France. But exposing the surgeons and the pictures, the childhood pictures, and all the other stuff that she allegedly came out with. And so the president of France is so agitated by this that they got in touch with Trump, and they came there to talk about the Ukraine-Russia war, but apparently in the midst of that intense discussion, she came up, and now she's telling us all about it for those who are talking about it in the chat.
About their relationship. That is like, we really all should just take a deep breath here, take a step back, and recognize that he is willing to let bloodshed, he's willing to let people die.
That's not what I got from this conversation you described, Candace. I didn't get that he was going to allow the war to continue if Candace Owens doesn't stop talking about me. Did y'all get that from what she described? I didn't get that. I just got somebody who was annoyed, and at some point he sidebarred and was like, "Yo, shut your girl up." And then, but he didn't say if you don't shut her up, Ukraine's never gonna have peace. That I don't think that's what he was referring to. But okay.
Okay. And a holdup here is going to be whether or not Candace Owens stops speaking about his wife's penis. That's ridiculous. You are not qualified to hold office. I thought that before all of this, just looking into your background. I know you're a fraud. You know you're a fraud. Your wife certainly knows that you are a fraud. But this is reaching levels where you just have to be impeached. That's absurd. That is like, let's get the impeachment trials going. And in my head, I'm thinking to Trump, actually, if you wanted to really negotiate, you could have said to him, how about I go live and tell all those reporters what you just said, if you don't sign this document. That's how I would have played it. But I was like 7 months pregnant. I would have played hardball. I don't need to have friends when we're talking about ending bloodshed.
Oh, drama, trauma, conflama, dalama. All that to say, 25 minutes to say, Candace, we don't care. We don't care. That's not what the president of France was saying. He's not going to get impeached. And if this call did happen, there was no reason for us to ever, ever, ever hear about it. No reason for us to ever hear about it. But there you go. All right, cool. So let's move on to our favorite person of the moment, mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani. I think I said it right. I'm probably never gonna get it right, but here's his vision for housing.
Go further toward the Vienna model. We'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us.
That sounds all nice, and it sounds very sexy, and it sounds cool, but it's bullshit. This man, the more I look him up and the more, Megan McCain said it best because she's a Nepo baby. She acknowledges she's a product of nepotism, right? And she's like, he's a Nepo baby as well. His mom is a successful director. His dad is a successful intellectual in all the major circles. And he's pretending to be one of the regular people while he still has access to his privilege. Dude, you're not who you say you are. You're not living how you claim you would love everyone to live. Now, I know you pulled that stunt about your rent-controlled apartment, but come to find out, you actually have a nice flat, I believe, in Chelsea, New York. So yeah, Mom, Dami, you're a Nepo baby. I wish I was a Nepo baby of a good nepotism, not a parent who's like abusing me or neglecting me. But if I could have been born with a little bit of nepotism, I would have definitely. You wouldn't be able to shut me up. This whole concept of this equality. Oh, I posted today on my Instagram. It says socialism is resentment disguised as compassion, enforced by tyranny, disguised as tolerance. That's what socialism is. It sounds fun, it sounds sexy, and then you're on bread lines for 5 hours just to feed your family. That's what socialism is. Socialism, if the people who are projecting socialism, if they are the people who are running on socialism, if they're not actually living those lives that they're projecting, yeah, you should probably not support them. You shouldn't be supporting a Bernie Sanders who has benefited from capitalism in the best way, has at least 3 homes in this country. And I'm sure he has property, land, stocks, has a portfolio I would scream to have. AOC, the same thing. She went from a net worth of 0 to a couple million within a few years. Yeah. High-rise apartment in DC. Making a great salary, endorsement deals, speaking engagements. Yeah. AOC is not doing bad. She's a product of capitalism. So this Democrat socialism stuff that she spots out, she don't live that world. She don't live in that life. If she lived that life, why doesn't she live in a regular apartment in Washington, D.C.? Humble. Yeah. But she chooses the high life. And then this dude, he ain't the homie. It ain't going to go down like that. He is a radical leftist with a lot of lofty ideas and no real plan to get any of it funded. And the way he wants to fund it is impossible. So, New Yorkers, I'm going to say this about a million more times, do the right thing. Because supporting this is basically supporting think about New York, y'all. New York is an economic epicenter. The stock market, all types of exchanges, every ethnicity you can think of, all doing business. And now someone comes along and wants to give away everything for free. But as you know, and I know, free doesn't really mean free because someone's paying for it. And I gave you advice on how you can make the city better without reverting to outright socialism. But hopefully y'all will listen. But whoever that 43% that voted for him in that Democrat primary, y'all should be slapped. So here's one of his supporters. He apparently was coming out of someplace, and I think he's getting out of a van, going into an event, and one of his supporters confronted him before he got inside.
What do you say? I have a question. What do you say about politicians that constantly reaffirm Israel's right to exist? Because people like me are constantly attacked by politicians for standing up for Palestine, and you are constantly defending the right for Israel to exist. My family is in Palestine right now, constantly under attack, and I'm hearing you say free Palestine, but also Israel has the right to exist. Don't be hypocritical. Don't be hypocritical and say free Palestine when you're also defending the right for Israel to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It's not your land to say it has the right to exist.
So I think that's the moment he realized he was in over his head. He's anti-Israel, trust me. So this fool will get in there and he will make New York City an even bigger shithole. And that's unfortunate. Because one of the greatest cities in the world is basically being reduced to a socialist hellhole. And y'all are allowing it. You can't play both sides when you're a Democrat socialist. That's a clear position. You stand for what you stand for. You can't be playing both sides of the fence talking about you a Democrat socialist. That's not how that works, Brad. And these people are believing in you for the unicorns and rainbows and nutberries. New York, once again, do the right thing. Just do the right thing. We ain't got time for this. We ain't got time to be sitting here wondering if y'all gonna really be this stupid. But I do believe he's gonna get on the debate stage. He's gonna get challenged by everybody up there, and they're gonna take him down. But they gotta prepare. They gotta be ready to go. He has to be challenged at every turn because you got to kind of like catch him the way Kamala got caught, right? How are you going to pay for this? Remember in I think it was a 60 Minutes interview when they were asking her, how are you going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for this? And she had no answer except tax the rich. Speaking of Kamala, right quick, things are not going so well for her in terms of the elite Democrat donors are really not in favor of her running for governor of California. So My advice would be don't run. Because if you lose that, you pretty much have executed your chances of ever running for national office, national office again, ever. But I also don't care. You could lose too. I mean, and never run for national office. I don't really care personally, but I'm just saying. Oh, right on time. Right on time. Right on time. I was just about to swing to this, Prince. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey. All right. It is official, baby. Baby. I knew we had the votes going into the stream because I got the breaking news from some creators that we had the votes. It was just a matter of when they were going to take the vote. The bill isn't perfect. It's not the bill that came over from the House. It was a lot of amendments, and illegals are still getting a degree of stuff I don't agree with. Are we going to get perfection from this? No. It's not a perfect bill, but it does cement Donald Trump's legacy, and we could work out everything else on the back end. So yes, this is a victory for the Trump administration. Hallelujah. I wish I had a soundboard. I'd play something soundboardy. We working on it. We working on it. We gonna get there. But this is a dub. Trump keeps winning. And now that we've gotten all of these minion judges out of the way, all these activist judges out of the way, we can start getting all the other parts of the agenda pushed through. The one big beautiful bill is going to be amazing next year when we fill out our taxes. I might go be a waiter now. Psych. I ain't that stupid. But this is a great day. This is a great day in the Trump administration. This is a dub, 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 dub. We got the votes. They did everything in their power to kill this bill, and Trump still prevailed. Elon Musk, you can kick rocks. Nobody cares. You know, this is the problem when you give a billionaire retard a little bit of power in the government, and he starts to think like, oh, he's high and mighty and convoluting. Is quality control coming up here? Because there ain't nothing else to play, really. Oh, we got it. We got a video, y'all. I think. Is that oh, so this is the moment the bill passed. Hold on, let's hide that. Roll it.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
Hey, let's go. Who were the Republicans that voted against it? Do we don't know yet? Y'all tried it. Y'all tried it. We made it. We did it. To quote Whitney Houston. But this is definitely a momentous day, a momentous moment in American history. Literally, if this bill didn't pass, the taxes were going to be crazy next year. If this bill didn't pass, because everything would have reverted back to pre-2017. And ain't nobody got time for that. So enjoy your tax. No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. Enjoy that 4K that your elderly folks get to enjoy. Enjoy the oh, so these are the, oh, my bad. I'm pressing the button and you pressing the button. You press it. Okay. Okay. Trader, trader, trader. Here's the thing, you know, everything Trump does is it's going to be a catastrophe. It's going to add to the national debt. It's going to do everything. Everything is always a travesty when it comes to Trump. So that's how, if something was to be a travesty, we wouldn't take you seriously because y'all cry wolf. You know, when you cry wolf so many times and then there's an actual problem, no one takes you serious. No one's listening to you. No one's panicking because everything you panic about, yes, no tax on social securities, baby, baby. You get a bunch of write-offs next year. If you're having a baby after January 2025, I think you get a G for that. So now y'all can get out there and start shooting up the club. Now, the one thing I wish was in this bill is that I don't know if it was in the bill that they get to write off child support. Like men should be able to write that off, but I don't think that was in the bill. But because I think child support is thievery and it's bullshit. But you know, you have the right to execute the mofo in the womb if you want to, but I'm forced to pay for it, right? But so it's a truly blessed day for Americans. I know there's some people that's gonna be crying and screaming because everyone becomes economic experts in these moments. Everyone's an economist. Everyone knows how to predict the futures. Everyone knows how to do everything in this moment. We all are we just have all the knowledge. We've gone to school. We have master's degrees all of a sudden in economics. We're just brilliant people. And that's pretty much going to be the day on TikTok when I go over there later today. Everyone's going to be an expert. Let them tell it. Medicare, Medicaid, whichever one is going away forever. But the illegal still got something out of the deal. I really don't agree with that, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it. Hallelujah. Praise God. But speaking of Trump, remember when all the tariff experts were around at the beginning? Remember January, we had all the tariff experts. They knew everything. Oh, tariffs are going to be the worst thing. It's going to be a detriment on our country. Going to take down. We're going to be paying all this money. Amazon even got political and made an ass of themselves, quite frankly, and started putting on the side how much more the person paid and what the tariffs caused it and blah blah blah. And turn out it never happened. But here's a little update.
Look how much we've been collecting in revenues. And I did this in part because Wilfred's here and he can talk about the UK trade deal. But just this is the monthly numbers. And they have gone up a lot. June is actually set for another big increase of $27 billion. That is money coming into U.S. coffers from tariffs. We are collecting a lot of revenue. So far, guys, $121 billion has flowed into the U.S. government since the start of the fiscal year. It's still a tiny portion of the overall revenues that the U.S. government gets, but it's increasingly a lot, especially we haven't seen it in terms of the consumer paying off higher inflation.
121 billion. And we're just getting started. Isn't that interesting? Remember, we were going broke. Remember, the fat Americans were going to have to now sew and, all the stuff apparently we don't know how to do. But, it's cool. We'll pick our strawberries and we'll sew our clothes and we'll make our shoes and whatever else we have to do. We're Americans. We can do anything. I'm American. And so remember that on this week of the 4th of July. And that's all I got. I'm tapped out. And then also the first round, I forgot to say that I think it was last week. The first round of Doge cuts were approved by Congress. So that's also another dub for Trump. I forgot to say that. So yeah, while people are running around here worrying about cutting off their children's penises and other crazy things, just let them know that it's actually not that bad. Having the privilege to mutilate your child is not it's not at the top of the priority list right now. It's not even on the list. Let's just be clear. But anyway, I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Thank y'all. I kind of like this low vibe. That workout knocked me out this morning, so I've been on my quiet storm. I appreciate y'all for watching. I will be live on the TikTok at 4 p.m. today. Make sure you like this video, this live stream. Make sure you share AJ's Rant Room. Make sure you subscribe if you have not done so, and smash that notification bell, please. Thank you so much. And thank y'all so much. And we will catch y'all mañana. Peace.